Get started in 1 second. Waiting for all media channels to connect. All right. Let's test audio real quick. Okay, great. And I won't be on for long. This is going to be pretty short, and I won't really be monitoring the chat either. This is kind of a note to self, but then also I think a lot of other people will find this useful too. So basically, this is how I can run a survey in an IRB-approved way. So here's the IRB. If you're associated with certain kinds of institutions, notably like universities, you're going to have to go through IRB. Sometimes government research, sometimes think tanks, sometimes nonprofits, but the main one is university in the United States. IRB is under the, I think it's technically under the FDA. Don't quote me on that. Maybe that's not true. Anyway, I am surveying humans, so I had to go through IRB approval, even though they eventually determined me to be exempt, but they had to determine it on their side. I was not allowed to determine that. And even though they determined exemption subject to a particular process. And so this shows like how you can do it in basically an IRB approved way. Technically it's an IRB exempt way, but it's basically an IRB approved way. So first thing, you can go to my GitHub and all the documents are going to be available there. Vanderveer, that's my last name. Look for research, dissertation, case alt ed. Some other time I'll go into what my dissertation's about, but this is basically my dissertation research. Go to the papers folder. 3 of these matter. One would be alt ed COVID-2. One would be matching effects, and then later tonight I will be pushing matching effects 2, but you can use either of those folders. And then alt ed prestige, which is a study about perceived prestige, the effect on favorability to alternative post-secondary credentials. I don't know if I'm going to push a folder called prestige 2, maybe, maybe not. And so here you can see this folder called IRB under the preprint submission packages. These are the artifacts that I submitted to IRB. And so I have them actually pulled up on my local here. Bring them to screen. So we'll look through the coronavirus one. And these are the artifacts. So I'm going to tell the IRB my recruitment message. And this is what I put into Mechanical Turk. Mechanical Turk title, Mechanical Turk description, and instructions. And I'll be doing all of this in front of you in the Mechanical Turk and SurveyMonkey platforms, but just to walk you through the artifacts that they're going to require. That is called a recruitment message. So we're using Mechanical Turk as a recruitment channel. You can conduct your survey within Mechanical Turk, but that's not what I'm doing, but that is possible. What I'm doing is I am doing the Mechanical Turk survey link, right? So if I go over here and I create a project and I say new project, there's survey link and survey, which are like 2 different things. So survey is I would actually be doing my survey in Mechanical Turk. And maybe in the future I'll do that. That's not what I'm doing today. What I'm doing today is a survey link, and I basically send them over to SurveyMonkey. And then this piece here is the Mechanical Turk instructions. So you can see at the bottom of the instructions, I give them a link. And that link is not to the survey. It is to a informed consent document. So IRB is really, really big on informed consent. So they have to like read through this and scroll to the bottom and click I agree. And the I agree button will take them to SurveyMonkey. Okay, so let's close this for now. Oh, and by the way, you can see that this is OSF. So this is where I'm actually hosting the consent documents. So Open Science Foundation, OSF. You can make open data sets here. I've done that before. I have some data on OSF. But you can also use it to host your consent documents. Okay, cool. Close that. So you can see basically what I've done for the IRB process is the participant is a Mechanical Turk user, and that is included in the consent language. So look at the consent documents. They're very picky about the language. Your IRB should provide you a template, and go with that. Do it to the best of your ability, and they're probably going to change request to you anyway. You can look at mine if you want an example. And I also followed a process recommended by University of Michigan, maybe? Let me get the link for you. Massachusetts. So Mechanical Turk is new, and a lot of IRBs don't know how to deal with it, but the University of Massachusetts Amherst gave specific MTurk guidance. And so I actually followed this guidance, and my IRB accepted it. And that was to put the I agree button in the bottom of a Word document, so that the IRB knows that they went through that informed consent document, right? So informed consent, they go down here, and then this in Word, it doesn't look like you can click it, but you right click it and link it. And you can add the link after the IRB has exempted you. So the IRB will see this, and they will know that they're going to use that button, but it won't be linked yet. And it can't be linked yet because you cannot create the SurveyMonkey link until you're approved to create the survey. But at least my IRB is still stamping. That's what they said. They're stamping. I don't know if that's a digital stamp or a physical stamp on paper, but they wanted to see this button.
Is Discord working now?
They wanted to see this button, and they wanted to stamp this Word document. Even though the link isn't there, they still accepted it.
I'm just going to make really angry noises.
After they approved it, I go to SurveyMonkey and design the survey, preview it, right? And so basically, you just put exactly the questions in here. You're going to have a proposed questionnaire, and you just take this data and put it in SurveyMonkey. Just straight over. No finagling, no indirection, literally. Make sure all your questions are required, or you'll stub your toe. Preview and score, collect responses, make a web link. The web link you can then link in the consent document. You then link it in the consent document, and then you upload the consent document to OSF, and then you grab this. Now you can see where I'm clicking, right? Yep. So now you grab this OSF URL, and that goes in your Mechanical Turk instructions. So the Mechanical Turk instructions that you will submit to IRB will have a link, but that link will change, and that's okay. You're going to have a link to the consent document that you provide to OSF at IRB time, but the consent document that you provide to OSF at IRB time doesn't have the proper link because it can't. It just has a fake button that isn't clickable. Okay, so what's going to happen is that this is going to be there for IRB review, and it's going to have one URL, and then you're going to get approved. You're going to change the button and upload the document to OSF and delete the old one and upload the new one. So you're going to edit the documents in OSF. As the uploader, you can do that. So you're going to come over here, and by the way, I used Word documents applying to IRB, but the one that the user will click is a PDF. So you print a PDF, upload that one, and it's going to change the URL. And printing to PDF is important because in Word, you cannot actually click the button. You have to right-click it. And as a survey taker, that's super annoying and confusing. So print it to PDF. Print it to PDF. It also makes the instruction language make more sense because it says, to access the survey, click the button which says I agree. If it was just Word, you would actually have to right-click it, and a bunch of people would get confused. So just don't do that. Print it to PDF. And it's going to change the URL. So you click it, you grab that new URL. This is the one that actually goes in your final Mechanical Turk instructions. So you're basically taking your Mechanical Turk instructions and changing the URL, and that's fine. I think that's everything that I wanted to show. So I showed you I entered it in SurveyMonkey. Go over here, get the web link. Grab that. Then I already put it. Let me make sure that actually. So this is the recruitment message. I'm going to close it because I want to make sure it's the right one. So we're not dealing with coronavirus. I already did that one. We are dealing with the matching effects too. So I actually ran a matching effects study in the past, but this is like a different one. So I kind of copied the folder over and I'm changing some stuff. Notably, the preprint submission package, GMU IRB Vanderveer 2, this is the newly approved one. So I'll be using this proposed questionnaire. That questionnaire is already in SurveyMonkey, and now I need to do the recruitment message. All right, let's do it. Recruitment message for perceived gap survey. That should already be in there. Wait, this is what I'm doing now. Yep. Okay, so let me close this one, and this is the one I'm working on now. It's a new project, perceived skill gap survey. Language matches. Here is the Mechanical Turk title. I just take it, drop it right there. I guess I already did that. Designed to take 15 to 20 minutes. Yep, straight out of there. And then grabbing this, but changing the link in both places. So I version control my stuff in GitHub. You obviously don't have to do that. When I applied to the IRB, I estimated that I would pay them $3 per response. And I already ran a batch on my coronavirus, and it got like really quickly done. So I'm lowering the price, and I think that's fine because the IRB thing it's an estimate. Also, for the IRB, I said I would like between 300 and 500 respondents, and I'm still targeting that, but I don't want to do them all at once because if I screw up this batch, it's going to be really expensive, right? So I published the batches in like 100. I could even do, if I was really worried about it, I could even do less, like 50. But I'm going to go for 100, and when it goes well, I expect it to go well. It's kind of like a risk aversion thing, like risk control. I expect it to go well, but just in case, I'm not going to spend all that money. So I'm going to do 100. It's going to go well. Then I'll do another 100 and get my samples like that instead of doing all of the. And by the way, I'm targeting 300. And if I do the statistical analysis and like the effects aren't really quite clear, then I'll do another 100 or 200. And if they're still not clear, it's like, okay, it's really just not a very strong effect, or the effect isn't there at all, something like that. Cool, so that does it for the design. Design layout, here are the instructions. I delete this survey link. Survey code, I'm actually calling it survey completion code. Survey completion. Oh, and here's something different from when I last used Mechanical Turk. Now they're requiring each worker to enter a unique survey completion code. I could be misunderstanding that, but like in the past, I thought it was unique per survey, and I'm reading it today like it's unique per respondent, which I'm not sure if that's true, but I'm just assuming it's true, and I've handled it with a very simple change. Design survey. Added one question right here in the bottom. I guess I didn't do it here. Good thing I brought it up. I did it in the coronavirus one. Okay, my surveys. Design survey. And this survey is like ongoing right now. The coronavirus one I've already launched. So you can see if you're taking this through Amazon Mechanical Turk, use your worker ID followed by the following for your survey completion code -2021 Feb COVID. So their worker ID is already unique, and then that 2021 Feb COVID is unique to the survey. So then it's like combining them, so it's like unique either way, right? So let me grab this language. Cancel the change because that survey is live. Alt-ed matching already has hundreds of responses because I did it in the past, but I won't be using those data. So this is the new web link. Design survey. Going to alter this language. Use your worker ID followed by the following for your survey completion code 2021 Feb ed matching, we'll say. Okay. That looks good. Go back to our collectors. I think I've already gotten the web link, but I'll get it on my clipboard just to be sure. This is the link I need to make sure is in my consent form. So this is the skill gap informed consent. This is the one that the IRB approved. I have no need for a I do not agree button. It's like if you don't agree, just like close the document. Here's the link if you do agree. This looks good. And now, so it's the same one they approved, but I just add the link and save as a PDF. And then I'll name it with link. Okay. Get that preview up here, and then you can see now I can click the button. And it takes me to the survey on alternative credentials. Yep, and this is the matching one. Cool. Don't save the docx change. Recruitment, we are going to update the OSF. So let me go to OSF. This is the skill gap. Delete the docx. And upload the, actually since it's like, it's a different file extension, different file name in principle, I don't need to delete the old one. I could just drag the new one in. Boop, like so. It's uploaded. Click that to get a new link. Let's also make sure that it works. Perceived skill gap survey. Just double check that title line is unique for each of the three. Just double check that this is the one I intended to upload. File name is already what I expect, but you know, even triple check. Okay, and I agree. It's convenient. It opens a new tab out of a OSF. That's convenient. And it is still the one that I want. Great news, great news, great news everywhere. Okay. So this will be the recruitment message we change. J4G, change to 6CZ. So it did change. As expected, save that. Close, minimize, don't need Zoom. And I will reopen this just to double check that that is the recruitment message I intended. Boom, 6CZ, great. Copy that. Now I can go finish working on my Mechanical Turk batch. So I will override all these, I will just override them. Right? And then I don't need this survey link. And then I'm calling it a survey completion code. Pedantic, but I still want the language to line up. See at the bottom here? survey completion code. Did I like not refresh the page? I think I just need to refresh my page. Yeah, I had 2 tabs open. Let's go back to the preview. Actually, it'll be in the designer, sorry. Yep. For your survey completion code. Got it. Okay. PDF is what I expect. This PDF URL, we link here. So you see I'm forcing them to view the consent document. And that's what the IRB cares about. Force them to view and consent. Originally I had the consent question inside the survey itself, and that really annoyed IRB because they're like, they didn't consent to take the survey, you can't ask within the survey. So this was a way to get around that. Another way to get around that is that the Mechanical Turk interface right here, you can actually edit the HTML source, and you could have them agree within Mechanical Turk. Click an agreement button here. Frankly, you can have the whole survey here. I just didn't do that in this design. Maybe next time around. Survey. Edit div. Did I click the source button? It's funny, it's calling it a div. Anyway, survey completion code. Div is the HTML term for what that is, which is why I thought it was funny. Frankly, it should be a p tag anyway. Okay. This looks good. Let's preview. I don't know why it does this. It like collapses it by default. I guess the Survey Turk or Mechanical Turk people are used to this though. It says click to expand. Why not just like start like that? Okay, so I am going to finish, but I'm not going to immediately launch the batch. I'm going to come back, click it, edit. I'm not really going to edit. I'm just going to jump over here to the preview because now I'm actually viewing it the way it was saved. I want to guarantee it was saved, is why I clicked the finish button. Let me open this link. It is the 6CZ skill gap. I agree here. Perceived skill gap survey at the top. I know that's different than the coronavirus and the prestige lines. Click the button. Confirm it does take me to SurveyMonkey. I've like quadruple checked everything at this point, right? So at this point, I'm very confident I'm ready to go launch a batch. So let's do it. So we are going to create, so here's the perceived skill gap survey that I just created. We're going to publish a batch. And I'm going to end the stream here because basically the next page is going to be my payment details. But just know, like I said earlier, I'm publishing a batch of 100. That's kind of like a risk control in case there's something wrong with the batch, even though we quadruple checked it. If there's something wrong with the batch, I only lose hundreds of dollars instead of thousands of dollars, right? But assuming it's successful, I will come back around and rebatch the same, launch a new batch on the same project. It is important that you do it from the same project to prevent duplicate, like the same person taking it twice. If you created a new project that had the same link, that new project, Jim, who lives down the street, some particular person could take that survey multiple times, which would be bad. You could still filter that at analysis time because you have their worker IDs and you can like filter that uniquely. But why correct for a problem when you can prevent it? Am I right? Okay, cool. Thanks for watching.